I get so many questions about the Moza FSR steering wheel. This steering wheel here, people like the look of it. It's got a screen. It's got that authentic sort of Formula form factor. I've used it a lot on the channel as well. Daytona 24 hours, other things like that. Pros and cons with this wheel. I'm going to let you know my pros and cons with it, honestly. But this is a big moment because Moza have just come out with the FSR2. So have they listened? Have they made the improvements? This could be the kind of king of Moza, because the pro of this wheel, one of them is that the price point now is super aggressive. I think this is coming in at like less than £500 now in the UK at certain retailers, which is insanely competitive. Cons for me, the grips for me, not quite premium level. The grips are quite hard. I know it's a Formula wheel, but I want to have a little bit more premium in the grips and maybe just a little bit more premium in the buttons as well. So those are the main things for me. You can see I haven't even taken the sticker off, but I've used this a lot over the last year, including in that 24-hour race where it was absolutely incredible. Lots of iRacing as well and ACC on this. So let's have a look at the Moza FSR2, which is this one here. So this is the box that it comes in. Moza have sent this to me as a review unit, and I give all of the feedback to Moza. We're going to get this on the rig as well today in this video. We're going to compare it with the existing FSR. Bosh. There we go. And a little bit more premium. I remember, I have a weird memory. I remember how these came in the FSR box, original one. It was a very clear plasticky one. This is like a little bit kind of like, I don't know if you can see, it's got like a little bit like matteness to it. Just a little bit nice because it is an expensive product. So we've got stickers in there. And I think this is nicer as well. Look at that. So Moza Racing, if you do buy this wheel, let me know if they've aligned it like that for you as well, because that's a nice touch. That's a nice touch. I think Moza are understanding that we want to have this experience when we buy these expensive wheels. So how am I going to do it so you're going to see it first? Not looking at it. Is that the right way up? Okay. Wow. Looks. This is the shot, right? Looks very similar. Looks very, very, very similar. Like, look at that. Can you even tell which is which? Off the bat. Okay. Wow. Weight-wise, this quick release is a different material. I've had a lot of people on my Senza video saying, oh, it's not a different material. I'm telling you, it's a different material. Don't know if you're going to be able to see, but this one is a slightly different material on the quick release. This is glossy. Can you see how it's glossy? And this is more matte. So it's definitely a different material. See the matte there? And see the glossiness there. Maybe it's different paint only, but it feels like they may have stepped up with that quick release. We will see. And on the back, what are we saying? Oh, okay. Well, we have a whole nother, it's a double shifter and a clutch. So we're getting extra paddles there. I'm going to peel off this Ethernet sticker there so you can plug that connection in. And then this is the most satisfying thing. Are we ready? So nice. And we've got it in there. So now we'll actually get a good look as well. Can you see if it looks different? Hard to tell. Okay, let's look at the front of it then. Do the grips feel different? I would say they may do. Now, this is not a scientific test, but I would say these grips may have a little bit more slight give in them, just a little bit. Don't quote me on that, please. But this is something I identify with this one. I was like, when driving it for long stints, I was like, I wish it had a little bit more give. And I'm pretty sure in this area here, these ones are a little bit chunkier. I don't know if you're going to see. Can you see? Can you see? This one, they look like they're chunkier, right? I think. So they may have changed that. This is different. This is now metallic and shiny. So that's more premium. Whereas on this one here, it's a sticker. Can you see? Shiny. The funkies. Oh, well that's different. These ones are not funky. They're not funky on the original one, but they are funky here. Okay, so that's better. Hard to tell on those, I would say. I can't really tell. I can't really tell there. So what we need to do now is we need to get this onto the rig. So we're going to get it on the rig and see how it handles, and we're going to hot swap between the two. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go then. The Moza FSR2 in Silverstone, but we're actually going to start. I'm going to quick hot swap it. This is such a bad idea. We're going to see if it hot swaps over. I want to get a baseline on the FSR1. So that's what you call a late steering wheel swap. And I want to see, is it a rolling start or what? Let's crack on. So firstly, I'm noting the shifters on the original FSR are quite loud. You can hear. There might be some noise production on the microphone, but they are very loud. Now, pros and cons there. Depends if you've got someone you live with that's going to be annoyed by that, or neighbours, or the cat. But they're very solid magnetic shifters. I mean, the Ascenza wheel doesn't have magnetic shifters, but this does. And you can hear them. It feels quite, again, like the grips, the proportions of the wheel I think are amazing. And when you lock in on this wheel, you really do feel one-to-one with your car. I wish the grips had a little bit of a tiny bit of squeeze in them. That would be awesome. But the proportions are incredible. I've been using the Lamborghini Ascenza wheel, which is quite heavy. And I expected this to feel quite lighter in comparison, but it doesn't actually. Going back to this wheel, it also has a very weighty feel to it. As does my Asher McLaren GT4 has a weighty feel. Through the middle here, lads. Oh my god. I've Verstappened it at cops. There we go. Okay. So crashed so bad, it took me out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to swap it for the FSR2. And you saw the screen there as well. So let's see what happens here with the FSR2. And we're going to grid up. Look at that crash. That's impressive. Huge. Okay. Let's go. Let's try not to do that on the FSR2. The FSR2 wouldn't do that, surely. Okay, so the screen's booting up. Oh, okay. Circular. Yep. I thought it might default to a rectangular one, and it is a touchscreen. The FSR1 isn't touchscreen, but this is. Let's put it on this one. So let's see how it is differently. I feel like it feels slightly different. Oh, we've got the double shifts on the back. Oh, I was pressing the wrong shifter. Okay, that's good to know. It's the middle shifters that do it, not the top ones. The top ones aren't mapped. You can hear them. Middle shifter. This wheel, to me, feels slightly... I'm just telling you what I'm feeling. It feels slightly bigger than the FSR, original one. It also doesn't feel as heavy. There's not as much inertia. Which is interesting. This is an 80-car race, obviously. Turn Silverstone into Macau. And let's see if we've... Oh my god. So you could map those ones to look left and look right. Actually, that would be quite interesting. That would be very easy, look left and look right. Or you could map them as kind of shift functionality for going through menus. Like if you hold down one of them and click left, it does something different. Kind of like hotkeys. But I have to say... And the grips, they're not squeezable for sure. Oh, they're not squeezable. But I feel like they are slightly more squeezy than the FSR ones. There's a bit more give. I'm interested how we've got the rotary screens on here. That might be a firmware thing. Because I'm recording this before the wheel officially comes out. I feel like we could use more real estate on the screen with a rectangular one. But I'm already immersed. You might just tell by my mannerisms and how I'm driving and how I'm speaking. Go on. Yes. I'm already immersed. And this is what's so great about the FSR family. Is this is definitely kind of like evolution, not revolution though. Like, I don't know how this wheel is going to be reviewed, but I don't feel like it's a huge step up from the FSR. I feel like it's one of those things where hopefully the FSR comes down in price now. The FSR is still 100% viable. But for example, these shifters, feel nicely dampened. Well, you know, for me that's nicely dampened because I've got a microphone. But you know, for other people, you might really want to have those very loud shift noises. And you got an option here. The touchscreen as well. You might not be bothered by a touchscreen, in which case save the money, go for the FSR1. Or you might really want the touchscreen because you can therefore go through different dashes. But I think was a little bit difficult to do on the original FSR. I certainly only really did it in pit house before the start of a race. We've crashed. Oh god. Oh man. Oh, this is awkward now. Highly awkward. Go across the gravel. Ooh. But you can have great fun with this wheel in F1 cars. You can see the colours here. They'll be you'll be able to change them in pit house. We've got those funky switches, so they rotate as well, going through the menus. For me personally, I don't see any reason to go back to the FSR1. Oh god, I'm having a terrible time of it. Maybe, well, I don't know. I crashed more in the FSR1, didn't I? But for me, this is just an improvement in every way over the FSR1. There we go on size. I kind of feel like the FSR2 feels like a bit bigger, but I might be wrong. You can see the screen, it has much cleaner, the screen's much cleaner, the detailing, which I prefer actually. The buttons, you can see the cutouts here, that looks to be the same. I wonder if the grips are a little bit chunkier, it's hard to tell. Let me know if you can see that, yes or no. So the button placement looks to be the same. These are now funkies, these were not funkies. Which is interesting. So that's an upgrade. They've also got, I don't know what this is, if these are sensors or something. Or then these might be traction control and ABS lights actually, which you didn't have here. The screen size looks like it might be smaller, interestingly. So screen size might have gone down, which is an interesting one. And how do these feel? These feel very similar. I can't really feel a difference there, to be honest. Kind of similar, but... And let me just have a look on weight as well. So I'll try and take this off. God. I feel like I was pressing that too much. Almost cracked it. Actually, no, it's just the screen. Hard to say on weight, actually. I can't really tell on weight. But it certainly felt like the FSR2 was just a bit nimbler than this one. But that might be a lot of stuff with firmware and things like that. So on the face of it, two very similar wheels. Very lucky to do this comparison. Big thanks to Moza for sending out both of these review units. I would say a lot of it's going to come down to price. Like, hopefully the FSR1 is going to be cheaper than the FSR2. And then you can ask me your questions on which ones, you know, what's worth it or not. So yeah, there we have it. Big comparison here. If you want to see more products and stuff like that, go to www.simracingdiscounts.com and share this video with anyone else that you think might enjoy these wheels or wants to know more about them. I'll see you next time.